Hello and welcome to round 2 of the Parenting Roundabout podcast. I'm Catherine Haleko and I'm here with Terri Morrow. Say hi, Terri.
Hello.
Usually on this podcast we talk about parenting issues, but once a week Terri and I like to get together to discuss TV, movies, books, and other entertainment topics because it's nice to talk about something other than parenting for a change. So this week we have 2 West Wing adjacent topics, plus our challenge round, which was a book by Jancee Dunn. But first, we are going to talk about, I just said we'd like to talk about something other than parenting, but we're going to go with our family sitcom.
Yes.
One day at a time. 2 more
something
episodes.
Other than our parenting.
Right. Other people's parenting. Fictional. So one
with
day
laughs.
At a time. Yes. This was season 2, episodes 5 and 6, Locked Down and Work Hard, Play Hard. And I thought these were pretty funny. I thought, as usual, Rita Moreno delivered a couple of LOL moments.
Yes, she's wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
She's
and we
funny.
had the first one called Lockdown, where Penelope was all excited to get the apartment to herself. Everybody was going somewhere. Her boyfriend Max was coming over. And then everything was ruined because the neighborhood went into a lockdown situation because there was a criminal on the loose. And everybody came back. And I really felt bad for poor Penelope.
Oh, yeah. And for Max, who had to, originally hide and then pretty much lie about who he was.
Right.
But I enjoyed that he started getting a little passive-aggressive with it after a while. That was funny.
Yes.
So, yeah, he's a good addition, I think.
Yeah.
He's very low-key.
Yes.
But funny.
Yeah, he's good.
Is a lockdown of a neighborhood a thing? I guess it must be.
Yeah, I feel like it could be in this kind of situation where there's someone who's like literally running around on the street with a gun. So they're trying to keep everybody inside. I mean, I think, you hear about like, we've had even in our little town, like where there's like somebody holed up in a house and the police are like sort of negotiating with him. And so they tell everybody around to just stay where they are. Don't go outside. So.
I can't remember ever having had that. Maybe I have and I just forgot about it, but that's, it's good for a sitcom plot.
Right.
For sure.
It works well for a sitcom plot.
It rocks for that. Everybody's stuck in the apartment.
Yeah.
Nobody can leave.
And then you have Elena and her girlfriend out on the fire escape, and the helicopter is talking to them.
Teenagers kissing.
Teenagers,
please
go
inside. That was cute. That was pretty predictable, the trajectory there, but I enjoyed it.
Yes.
And it was fun. And this was the one, I remember Alan Sepinwall had written about an episode where a gun debate was kind of wedged in where it really didn't need to be. Mm-hmm. And this was the one, I'm sure, that he was talking about.
Yeah.
So, the good points were made, and I liked that they, had the little bit that, in fact, even though she had been talking against it, she too had a gun.
Yes, that was a surprise.
At the same time, it was a pretty light and fun and funny episode that in no way needed that. So therefore it felt like somebody said, hey, wait, we haven't had an issue in this episode.
Right.
And there's no issue in the next one. What could they be talking about? Oh, yeah. Or they wanted to do something on guns and just had never found an episode for it. It just felt wedged in and unnecessary. So, I don't begrudge them that if that's what they want to do, if that's what they need to do. It was relatively short and painless, but sometimes you can just be funny. It's really okay. There was a lot of good, funny stuff going on in that episode. Yeah. So.
And then the second one we watched was Work Hard, Play Hard, where both offspring were supposed to be earning money, and Alex had to come to work with his mom and do some work at the doctor's office, and Elena was trying to earn money playing video games, which is a thing,
I believe it. And I believe that it would be difficult and not fun. As we who have a career writing, doing something we love, and, grumbling about it every day. I can attest.
Exactly.
It's, there's a reason they call it work. This is what I keep telling my kids when they say work is hard or boring or that job doesn't sound like something I'd like. It's like, that's what the money is for.
That's why they pay
Mad Men. So that was a familiar scenario there that she was dealing with.
Yes.
But and the boy imitating his grandma was pretty funny.
Oh my gosh, that was great.
He did that well.
Yes.
Yeah, and I enjoy the Doctor's continued rise in status in the cast. He's around more and more, even though the grandma seems to be giving him mixed signals. He's still hanging in there, and very cute, very enjoyable having him as part of the mix.
Yeah.
So and I like Elena's girlfriend also. She's has a sort of nice off-kilter way about her.
Yeah.
Not quite to the degree of Carmen.
Right,
but not.
Carmen.
But still, a little something different. So another enjoyable 2 episodes.
Yeah.
And
now,
what are we up to now? Was this 6?
This was 5 and 6.
Season?
So we're now
like
on
halfway
the
through.
downward slide toward the end.
Wow. These short seasons, man.
Yeah.
When you grow up with 23 episode per season sitcoms and then one is 12 or 13. It's a jolt.
Kind of strange. Well, shall we move on to West Wing, which does still have 22 episode seasons, I believe.
Yes, it does. Yes. It does. Although we will not be forging forward with it, will we? For a little while.
Since
they're going right up to the episode I've been dying to see all season and stopping. But that's okay. I'm not there.
Yeah, so since we watched The West Wing alongside the West Wing Weekly podcast, we watched it on a 1-week delay recently because we hadn't been confident in the timing of when they were watching it. And now they're going on a break, taking a break for the next several weeks.
Yeah, well, I mean, they're taking a break from the podcast as they go on their live tour.
And they'll be recording episodes, but
they're just taking a break from us.
And I have to think that the live episodes are not going to be tied specifically to episodes of the show, so that
I would
we won't be
not,
watching
sadly.
a new one for quite some time. But
I have mixed emotions because the next episode I like very much. It's one of my favorites of the season. I'm dying to watch it. But it is true that it sort of is the calm before the bleep storm of the remaining 3 episodes after that. And so it kind of goes with it, I guess. And those last 3 episodes, I am not eager to watch it all. Take 2 months on tour. Take 3. So...
Well...
They could just.
I know. You really want to watch it. You can watch it, I know.
I may just go watch it. But I want to talk to you about it, and I will be able to.
True. Let's talk about the one we did watch, which is called Angel Maintenance, and it is set mostly on Air Force One, where most of the cast, not everyone, but many of them are on Air Force One, and there is possibly a mechanical problem with the plane, or it might just be that the indicator light is giving a false alarm. So they have to go through all these steps, and they have to try to fix it or figure out if it's actually broken. And then meanwhile, there's all these press. There's all these reporters on the plane. And as they said in the podcast, I was surprised how quickly they just straight up lied to them and there's fuel spill on the runway. This is something that can easily be checked.
Well, when they said that, they thought it was going to be over with quickly. I don't know.
Right.
But I mean, I can understand their reasons for not wanting to say anything, and I can understand the press's side of it too. It's one of those things where, it's a difficult situation and not always prudent to be telling the truth, alas, in that situation. Right. But she could have just turned off the phones and told the truth.
Exactly. And or just not, or just left him a little more in the dark, maybe, you know. I don't know. But anyway, it was kind of...
it's not in their interest either for people to know that the president's plane is up there with no way to land, because if somebody shoots it down, it's going to be them too. So
it's trouble for them
just
as
hang
well.
for a little bit, people.
Yes, but those sort of logistical things I think are interesting to watch.
And a very nice teledonna there with what angel maintenance means. In this case, she was explaining things to Josh, so that's a little bit of a mix.
Well, that was a nice little
trope
thing where she asked Josh for more responsibility, and he gave it to her right away, basically.
Hey, so look at that.
Nice. I enjoyed that.
Yeah. He was having that discouraging plot of trying to work with the Republican and then having to basically screw him over in the end.
Which he's had to do before.
That was... He has, and he hasn't felt bad about it. Right. This time I get the sense that he felt bad about it.
And whoever that congressman was like hey, it's that guy for me. I don't know.
Yeah, he definitely was. Did you look up his name? As we discuss, I shall take my other computer here and look him up.
The backup computer, the looking up computer.
The looking up computer that is not recording things. Although I could use that one too. It's just the keystrokes are much louder on it. I don't know what's happening with this computer. This computer's not happy. I've not used it in a while. So talk amongst yourselves. Well, so what else do we have on this one? We had Toby with the congressman. Have we seen that congressman before?
Which one was Toby talking to?
He was talking to the head of the Black Caucus.
Oh, yeah. He's been on before. That was really good. I feel like we've
seen him before.
Yeah, that was...
another situation where there can be many correct points of view and they don't necessarily agree, and it's complex. Mm-hmm. And you can't do what the person wants, even though you can say, Toby having to say, I'm just here on a job. I don't necessarily disagree with you.
Right. Yeah, that was nice. And then the very, very end, the congressman was going to call the family of a service member who died. So, yeah, that was I thought that was well done, and that I like that actor who plays the Brooklyn congressman. Yes, right.
So that was, but the whole up in the plane. I thought they used the plane very well, and they did a lot of fun things with that, and. Got a little Ed and Larry action, and
it's always
introduced the fact that Will Bailey is with the Air Force.
Yeah, the Air Force reserve or something. Even though
which comes up again in the
flying,
it comes up again in the next episode, which is going to take us a month or more to watch. But hold that thought into your head. You'll need that information again.
I always enjoy a Ned and Larry episode. So
yes.
That was fun.
That was fun.
And on the podcast, they had Eric Fanning, who is a former secretary. He worked for both the Army and the Air Force, I guess, in different jobs in past administrations, and now he's sort of like a lobbyist for the aerospace industry. And so he had some great insights on Air Force One.
Yes. That was fun.
He's been on before, on the podcast before, talking about other things, but in this case, he gave us some background on that.
That's
so that was nice.
Okay, so playing Congressman Tom Landis is Matt McCoy, who you may have seen in Silicon Valley. You watch that?
Nope.
Masters of Sex, Transparent. It was in an episode of NCIS, so ask your son, Senator Thomas Brasfield. And like a whole bunch of one episode of about I'm up to about 20 TV shows.
Yeah, here. So the
dude works.
I've seen him somewhere.
He gets around. Mm-hmm. This is when we do our birthdays every day, looking through the. My husband and I do. He has to guess when people's birth year. And there's some people that he says, "Oh, I recognize that person. What's he been in?" And I go look, and he's like, "Well." Every TV show in the 70s. He was in one episode of every detective show, sitcom, everything. So these are these people who they work. Yeah. They're busy.
That's something that comes up on Little House on the podcast, where, these guest roles played by 70s actors, and sometimes
That's right.
Kim Reed will give you the lowdown on what else they've been on since then in the 40 years since that show aired. So.
Yeah. All those shows need guest stars, man.
Mm-hmm.
So, did you see that there was a Tony Award show one time where they showed all these different actors who are up for Tonys or just
who are on Law and Order.
Broadway stars who are all on Law and Order.
That was very good.
Insatiable appetite of shows for, hey, it's that guys or girls.
Exactly.
But so that was a fine episode of The West Wing, and an interesting episode of The West Wing Weekly. And then we have this week a bonus episode to talk about.
Right. So
because we're catching back down with them.
Right. So in the after they did this one about angel maintenance, they did a special episode where Rishi talked with Lin-Manuel Miranda and Tommy Kail all about all the intersections and influences and crossovers between the West Wing and Hamilton, some of which had to be pointed out to Lin-Manuel Miranda for the first time. So that was really fun to listen to.
It was, yeah. And it's, we know just from conversation and stuff how much when you watch something and enjoy it, the phrases from it just seep into your head. And in this case, they seeped from his head into his show. And then people are going, oh, I like how you worked this in.
Right.
I had no idea.
That was on purpose.
There was a connection. Right. I forgot all about that. So, but that was just the most adorable thing, that podcast. And I just love listening to the two of them. And Lin-Manuel Miranda has a much larger footprint in the kind of pop culture I consume than Tommy Kail does. So whenever I have a chance to listen to Tommy Kail, I just love it because he's really fun and smart and funny and cute. They have such a cute relationship between the two of them, and he always has really good and interesting things to say. I've heard him interviewed on a few podcasts, and so this was a treat for that as well. And they obviously just enjoy working together so much. And whenever I read anything about the cabinet, as they call themselves for Hamilton, with Alex Lacamoire and Andy Blankenbuehler, and whenever I see anything of them talking together or talking about their process and stuff, it's like, man, I wish I had a team like that. That sounds like so much fun. Doesn't that to work with your best friends, and then when you have this fantastic success, your best friends are right there with you and you're making their career and just... I'd like to just bring stuff into a bunch of really smart people and say, I did this. What do you think? And then they all take it and make it better. Exactly. Where do you get one of those, Catherine? Where can I pick me up one of those?
I know. They're really fun to listen to. And just their relationship is great.
They are. They all are.
I liked a lot when Tommy Kail was talking about how, you don't have to be miserable to make good things. That isn't how you make good things.
Yes.
You need to be in a happy environment, a positive environment, in order to succeed. And I thought that was really uplifting.
Yeah, and they have, by all accounts, made that the case in the shows that they've worked on. Everybody seems to have very happy things to say about him. And at least judging by when they come onto the Hamilcast and Gush.
Yes.
So that's a neat thing, and it seems to be just really a hallmark of that group of creative people who seem like a lot of fun, and
definitely
I am jealous of.
Yeah,
I'm jealous of not so much for their success, but for the good time they have creating it.
Right.
So
that
was a very nice podcast.
If you are a Hamilton person and a little bit about the West Wing, maybe you aren't, following along with the podcast as much as we are, but if you've ever watched the West Wing and Hamilton, you'd probably be interested in this episode of the podcast. Yes. So,
but also, even if you're a West Wing fan who knows nothing about Hamilton, I think you would still enjoy it. It's very fun. It's a very fun, fast, charming
discussion. Yes.
Episode. Yeah, definitely. So, that was fun. It does not quite make me forgive them for going away before they get to the episode I wanted to watch, but but it mollifies me.
Good.
We interrupt this podcast to remind you to please consider the free Radio Public app for all your Parenting Roundabout listening needs. If you listen to our podcast on the app, we'll get paid a little for each listen and more if you listen a lot.
It's a great way to financially support our podcast without having to actually spend, money. Now on to our challenge round. Well, should we move on to the challenge round?
Let's do that, yeah. I read a book.
You read a book?
I read a book in like one day, but I read a book.
Well, it was a fast read.
It was, yeah.
It is a book called But Enough About Me by Jancee Dunn. And I have seen two different subtitles.
Okay.
One is about like the awkward Jersey girl, and one is about something like trading hairspray for... I don't remember, but anyway.
Yeah, my copy says A Jersey Girl's Unlikely Adventures Among the Absurdly Famous.
Right, and that's what my copy says too. But on Amazon, maybe on the paperback, there's a different...
Yeah,
there's a
and
different
I got it out of the library, and I would say I am possibly the second person who read it. I know I'm not the first person who read it because there are food stains on some of the pages. But it's not that new a book, and this looks...
pretty pristine.
Pretty pristine. I was worried because the last book I got out of there was A is for Alibi, and it looked like it had been under somebody's car seat for 5 years. And then they found it and turned it back to the library. So this one is pretty sparkling. So
yes.
they gotta put it out someplace where people know it's there because it's Jersey content.
Yeah, exactly.
Should be on a special table.
Right.
Jersey people made good by moving to Manhattan, but still,
right,
they made good.
But she always kind of missed Jersey. So this is the story. It's kind of part memoir, and mostly memoir of a writer who up in New Jersey, and she kind of made a career doing celebrity profiles. So she has a little bit of sort of tongue-in-cheek, how-to in the book about how to kind of soften up your subject and how to have a good setting for your interview. Like, what is a good setting? Their home is a good setting. A restaurant is not. Things like that, while also talking about her childhood and her life, making that transition from New Jersey to Manhattan. And years ago, a friend had recommended this to me, and I think it's a lot of fun. It's a fun, quick, easy read. She does not shy away from naming names of the celebrities she's interviewed. So that's fun. And, as a writer, as somebody who did come from outside New York to New York, I have, both you and I have done a little bit of celebrity interviewing in our day.
Yeah. I never, she describes her earliest awkward attempts. I never got beyond that stage. I was not as brave, and I said, you know what? Not for me.
But what did you think? Did you enjoy reading about hers?
I enjoyed the book very much. One thing that a book can do to get itself in my good graces right away is have short chapters, because that propels me through a book. Because you're reading and you can always say, well, the next chapter is just 2 pages. I could read that. Right. And then you wind up reading 100 pages in a sitting. So I really like that. It moved very fast. And the writing was very engaging. And it alternated between chapters sort of about her life experience and then little interim bits about kind of rules for interviewing celebrities that were very funny. And then towards the end, it got into just both the chapter and the little interlude, both were about celebrity interviewing, as that got to be more and more a thing. But I enjoyed the celebrity stuff more than I enjoyed the account of her life, probably just because I really don't know who she is. I mean, I'm not sure when she started at Rolling Stone, if it was after I stopped reading it, because I didn't recognize her name, and there are some Rolling Stone writers whose name I would recognize. So, but it's been a long time, and my brain cells are falling fast. So
I think
it's possible I've read some of her stuff.
Early 90s. That she got there.
Yeah, see, that's when I made the transition from somebody who read magazines to somebody who
small
was
children
watching Barney.
Exactly.
So, I lost touch with a lot of pop culture. I hung on to Entertainment Weekly for as long as I could, and then even that flew away out of my hands. So I think if she was a writer whose name I recognized, I would have been really interested in reading about her life. As it was, it was interestingly written, engagingly written, very self-deprecating, nothing wrong with it, just I don't know you. Why do I care about you? But her celebrity stuff was, the little anecdotes of the celebrity interviews was very interesting and, brought back a few bad memories, but made me also think, if you know how to do this, it must be fantastically fun. Though I have to say now, I'm looking at her website right now, and she's treading on our territory now, Catherine. Lots of parenting stuff on her list of writing now. Go back to celebrities, lady. We got this. Stay on your turf.
Right.
Her latest book is...
I want to read this.
How Not to Hate Your Husband After Kids. So the whole book is like, she finds the right guy in like the last 10 pages of the book. Right. And now she has a whole book about him. So I guess we know how that worked out.
Yep.
I'm assuming it's the same guy. I mean, there could be a book in between saying how to ditch your first husband.
No, I'm pretty sure it's the same guy. Pretty sure.
Yeah. But I mean, it was. I mean, seriously, I read most of it in a day, just because it's the kind of thing you can just, like, a bowl of popcorn, just keep popping the next one in your mouth, just keep going. So that speaks well of it. It wasn't, there were no chapter came up where I said, oh, I don't want to read this.
How will I ever
do something else?
Yeah.
Maybe I can fake it. No. So it was enjoyable. I'm glad I read it.
I think it's a lot of fun. And, just getting the whole, like, the scene of like Loretta Lynn's home or Dolly Parton
fun.
Or even Madonna or, all of them just.
Yes. And the copy I have has a quote from Dolly Parton on the back.
Yeah, mine too.
Which supports her contention that Dolly Parton is just
the nicest person.
So cool. And the nicest person. And very real and genuine. Is she the one who sent her home with a block of Velveeta, or was that Loretta Lynn? Somebody.
I think it was Dolly who gave her the Velveeta because Loretta Lynn sent her fudge.
Fudge. Peanut butter fudge. That's right.
So yeah. So yeah.
Nobody ever sent me anything. No. Except nasty notes to my editor about how unprofessional I was.
Oh, well, those were the days.
Sometimes you are a young reporter given a chance and you make good and get books out of it, and sometimes you just crawl back into your copy editing hole.
Like, this is where I must stay. Oh, dear. Well, that was fun. So that was our challenge. Yes. Thank you for reading a book.
Yeah, I always enjoy reading a book when I've done it and think, why don't I do this more often? And then life just moves in. But if anybody has recommendations for good books with short chapters,
right? This is sort of like how in my book club
I can knock those off.
300-page limit. Terry's recommendation is short chapters. So.
Short chapters can get you through a lot. And I mean, there's books that I really enjoy that have long chapters, but it's harder to find the mental space to take them in. But I can read things in 1 or 2 page chunks pretty easily. So
good.
That was fun.
Well, so now you have a challenge for me for next time.
I do have another entry in my ongoing series of movies that are not precisely good, but for some reason I just dig or can watch when they go by on HBO at any time. What is it? Poppy Fields movies, they call them on Extra Hot Great, right?
Yes, they do.
You just, whenever you find one, you just have to sit and watch the whole thing. So the movie is called He's Just Not That Into You. It is that can't-lose combination of a nonfiction book turned into a romantic comedy. So those always go well. And
it worked for Mean Girls.
So I guess it can. Well, we'll see what you think, whether it worked for this one. Okay. But it's the kind of movie, it's sort of Love Actually like, in that you're following a bunch of different stories that are sort of vaguely tied together, but allows for a cast with lots of faces you recognize doing their little scenes, and then it's somebody else. It's a short chapter kind of movie. So we will watch that for next week.
Very good. So for next week, we'll watch that. We will watch episodes 7 and 8 of season 2 of One Day at a Time. They are called Exclusive and What Happened. And then because we don't have The West Wing, we are going to jump into Trophy Wife, which we talked about. We watched the pilot, and so we will get our Bradley Whitford in this format instead of in The West Wing.
Very different performance than Josh Lyman.
Right.
I enjoy how laid back he is in this show.
So it's Episodes 2 and 3, and you can get that on abc.com.
For free, as long as you don't mind watching commercials.
And that's going to be it for Round 2 today. Please subscribe to our Parenting Roundabout podcast so you won't miss any of our episodes, including our daily speed rounds and weekly group chats. As always, you can find recaps, links, and an opportunity to comment on our website at parentingroundabout.com. Bye, Terri.
Bye, Catherine.
Bye, everyone.